This is the You Get Ripped podcast with Scott and Jim, session number 1. Let's do this. Welcome to the You Get Ripped podcast. Are you ready to take your health and fitness to the next level without all the BS? Well, get ready for a motivational kick in the butt so you can hit your fitness goals. And now your host, two guys who grew up together and once ate raw eggs after watching the movie Rocky. Here's Scott and Jim.
Well, hey everyone, this is Scott.
And this is Jim.
All right, this is our first podcast. And Jimmy's sucking on the old Shakeology. How's it going over there in Arizona, Jimmy?
Well, it's pretty good. Weather's supposed to be nice, but Shakeology's good too.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you're joining us for the first time, my name is Scott Volker. Got Jim Krill on the other line, a longtime friend of mine. We decided to start a podcast after we've been training now together on and off for the past, what, Jim? Maybe 25 years? Something like that? 20, 25, maybe, yeah. I'm 41 and you are 43?
44.
44?
But now you're probably close on the 20 years for really actually working out. But don't forget when you go back to that first Rocky episode that we watched, we were working out for probably 30, 35 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Here's the thing, though. You know, we don't look like we've been working out for 30 years. That's the truth right there. We were doing it all wrong when we were growing up, right?
Well, no, I think you got a good point there. And what you're saying is, you know, we've worked out since we were little up till now. But it's an on and off thing. It's a hot and cold setup where sometimes you work out and then you got stretches where you're not able to, or you don't, or whatever happens. And I think a lot of people come across that, whether you've worked out in the past or you're working out now, or you know, you're on a lull where you're not able to get into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do here, is get people on track and stay on track, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just kind of go over exactly what we hope to get out of this and hope other people want to or can hopefully get out of this. You know, Jim and I have been kind of like Skyping and videoing and texting and everything for the past probably couple of years, going on and off with our workouts and stuff. And we grew up together. Playing Little League and football and all kinds of stuff together. We moved to Arizona, and I'm still residing here in upstate New York, unfortunately. But anyway, we decided to get back into it after, well, Jimmy, you were kind of working out on and off, but yet I kind of talked to you and told you I was doing this program called Insanity. And I think that's where we kind of started to team up again and kind of work out long distance wise, if you will. You know what I mean? So let me just, I guess, go over why I got started back into it after so many years. And again, like we said, we've been working out for a long time, but really it's on and off, and doing things wrong and learning and, you know, eating the wrong way and then thinking we're doing things, you know, so it's a learning thing. We're still students, but we want to connect with people out there that are like-minded and can hopefully inspire each other and motivate each other. But I'm just going to tell my story real quick, just to give everybody who's listening for the first time that, you know, basically why I got back into it. I was out of it for probably 8 years before, you know, I didn't even lift up a weight. I didn't do any exercise. I worked outside doing construction for a little while, and that was my exercise. But nothing that was scheduled and everything. But then one night I was sitting there laying in bed, probably around 1 o'clock at night, and that infomercial that everyone's probably seen, Insanity, Shaun T. And I saw it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that thing looks hard, you know. But I knew I was probably 20 to 30 pounds overweight. At the time, I was probably pushing 190, 195, somewhere in that area. And I didn't know if I was ready to commit to that, and I didn't. And it took probably another 2 or 3 months before I seen that infomercial again, that I talked to my wife in the morning, and I said, I'm ordering that Insanity program. And I ordered it, and because I ordered it, and I spent $125, $150, whatever it was, I felt as though I have to do it. Well, let me tell you something. After the first workout, I felt like taking $130 and throwing it away and sending it back because it was freaking hard. And I just doubted myself so bad. But I said, you know what? And this is the underlining theme I want to be in this episode, is I want you to give something at least 7 days. Because if I didn't give it 7 days, I would have quit and I wouldn't have been done. I wouldn't be creating this podcast. I wouldn't be into fitness as much as I am. My health, the nutrition, all that wouldn't have come. And I just want to let people know that it just takes that one initial time. So just do us a favor and give us 7 days, or give yourself 7 days. Don't give up. Just push yourself through it, and then you'll be surprised at what your mind will do to take over. I mean, it's been proven that it's 30 days before you can actually develop a habit, before you can break a habit or form a new habit. So you really want to give it time. Now, if 7 days is not going to break that habit, but it's going to start creating a new one. And that's really what I want people to take away from this. But that's my story quickly. But then from there, I finished the insanity. I lost 20-some pounds. My kids were telling me I looked ripped. Their friends were telling them that I looked ripped. And I started feeling good about myself again. And I didn't mind wearing a cutoff shirt. And I wasn't big by any means, but I was, 39 years old at the time, and, approaching that 40-year-old mark. And if anybody's listening to this that's going to be turning 40, you know what I mean. It felt like, I got a little bit more of my youth back, and it felt really good. So from there, it kind of skyrocketed me and pushed me to want to continue to do fitness. And I did P90X, and then I did a hybrid where I did P90X and Insanity. And then from there, it just continued. And then I talked about creating our own workouts so we can just try new things. And, that's really my story. And that's why I'm here, because I know there's people out there that need help. Another short little story, a friend of mine who was 285 pounds was watching me do all this stuff. And I never brought up weight to him. I never brought up anything about losing weight. And he ended up... actually, I told him, I said, look, for 90 days, I'm not going to be drinking any alcohol. We used to have a couple beers every now and then. I said, I'm not going to be drinking. And he's like, why? And I said, I'm going to be doing P90X. I'm going to keep everything clean. And he said, hey, you mind if I join you? And I was like, really? Seriously? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Well, you got to know this guy. He's got bad knees, bad back. P90X is going to be tough for him. So I said, let's find another workout for you. So I went and I researched a little bit through Beachbody, and I found Power 90. Which he did. And long story short, he did it. He stuck to his nutrition. We got him on course. And basically, he lost what? Almost 100 pounds. He's like 182, 185 pounds, somewhere in there. Size 35 waist. I mean, I was a 30, 32, somewhere in that range. And he's a 34. He was 280 some pounds. So this stuff works. And that's really what inspires me to want to reach out there. And I know you feel the same way, Jim. So give your background story real quick so that way people can kind of get an understanding of where you come from, where we come from, and then we can move on. And I want people to understand, though, that these podcasts are going to be here for you to listen to motivate. They're going to be something that I would want to listen to, something that Jim would want to listen to. We're not trying to go out there and reach the masses as far as everyone. We're not going to be able to cater to everyone. We could help a lot of people, but we really want to surround ourselves, create a tribe, if you will, of people that are like-minded, motivated, and want to push each other and are not judgmental. I think that's huge. But Jim, go ahead. Sorry I talked so much there. I just burned about, 300 calories talking there.
You're probably right. I don't think people realize that just walking to the bathroom, you end up burning more calories than sitting still. But, well, my story's pretty similar to yours. I mean, we worked out together for a little while when we were younger, in our early 20s, I believe it was. And after we worked together, you might have said that we worked construction together. And then when I moved to Arizona, you stopped working construction and you got more of an office job, if you will. So you started putting on more pounds because you weren't doing that movement every day. Now I would work out on and off throughout I think you said you took, about 8 years off or so. It might have even been a little bit more than that. Mm-hmm. But over that time period, I would work out. But my problem is I'd work out for 9 months or 12 months, and then I'd either get an injury or take a couple weeks off. And you know that little thing you said about it takes a week or 30 days to develop a habit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in a week's time, if I took time off from exercising, well, I think that turned around and formed a habit of not working out.
Mm-hmm.
So then that would turn into 9 to 12 months of no exercise or no working out.
Right.
And I don't think you and I ever really had the nutrition part of this down.
No.
Now and all this time that I was working out on and off up till, let's just say, age 42, because when I turned 42 and I think you turned 40 was right around the time we started doing this. Mm-hmm. We really never had the nutrition down.
No.
So for us, I think we knew quite a bit about exercise and all that kind of stuff, but we didn't really know a lot about nutrition. So we've really educated ourselves, I think, on that. So we can help folks when it comes to nutrition a lot, exercise, and obviously, since we've talked about the fact that we've worked out when we were younger, I've gone on and off. Well, motivation is going to be the third key to help people to stay going. And our group together here, or if we decide we want to come up with a name for this, we don't know what it's going to be, maybe a tribe, maybe a group. I don't want to be a membership. That sounds like everything else, I think.
Yeah.
But I want to get our group together where we can talk about nutrition, talk about exercise, and motivation. I think motivation's huge, that a lot of people need to keep going in their endeavors to lose weight.
I mean, you and I both talked about that, and that's why we decided to do this. We're like, wouldn't it be interesting for people to actually hear and see our conversations that we have on a daily basis? I mean, we probably shoot each other a couple, 2, 3 videos a day. It could be just like, hey, just want to let you know I finished up chest and tris. It was an awesome workout. Hey, I'm doing this exercise and it seems to be working. I'm getting a nice burn. It's feeling really nice and sore the next day. You might want to try. All of these things that we're kind of tossing off back and forth as if we were living next door to each other. You visited, was in the summer, so a couple months ago, and we had a chance to work out for about 3 weeks together at one of the gyms, which I don't like the gym atmosphere, but when you're working out with someone, you kind of need that. So you and I worked out, and that was great. It was awesome. But we said, you know what, we got to keep this going while you're home and I'm back here, and we can keep this going. But we said, you know what, there's other guys out there and gals out there that, they want to do what we're doing. They want to be able to let people know what they're doing. They want to be motivating people and getting motivated, or inspiring, or hearing about someone. I mean, it's awesome. Jim, I sent out an email. We've got about, at the time here, about 175 people that signed up for us to help them. And that's very low, but it's very awesome, because I put out an email and said, look, I want to see what you guys need help with or what you're struggling with. Let us know. We want to reach out and help. And I had about 7, 8 people, and one guy, actually a younger guy, said, hey, after listening to some of your videos and some of your blog posts at You Get Ripped, I lost 15 pounds. I immediately texted you, Jim, remember? And I said, that was awesome. I said, I'm pumped up right now. I'm so pumped because it feels really good. And like I said, I helped one of my friends lose almost 100 pounds. That felt amazing. And we're always getting people at parties. You just were at a get-together, and people were asking you questions, picking your brain. Why? Because they see you as being conscious. And the thing is sometimes you feel like an outcast at some of these parties. Some people will make fun of you. Oh, what are you doing? Why are you over there eating that? Why aren't you eating this? Why don't you eat the brownies? Oh, who cares? You only live once. You've heard it all. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do cheat from time to time. But I also get right back on track. And we've talked about that. I've written blog posts about it, shot videos about it. And we'll continue to talk about that. But I think the biggest thing here, and I wrote a blog post just the other day. You might want to go check it out at yougetripped.com. But it was the blog post that said you need to find your why, and let's make that the underlining thing here for this podcast, because what I want you to do and Jim wants you to do is take away this part. Because if you find this answer out, like you see people getting their stomach stapled, you see them going for these surgeries and doing what my friend did. He lost 100 pounds, but after, he didn't get the surgery, but if you got a surgery, you would hopefully lose that. But fix this. You didn't fix your mind. You didn't fix your brain, your thought process, your change of nutrition, because we both know, Jim, 80% of it is your nutrition, right? I mean, you and I were trying to get big when we were 16, 17, and we were eating Big Macs and pancakes and anything we could, because we thought, you know what, the more we get in, the bigger we're going to get. We didn't know about protein. We didn't know about the right carbs and the right fats. We just thought consume food, And when you're younger, you might be able to get away with it, but you're still not optimal. I just had a 14-year-old kid email me wanting to know how he can get bigger. It's funny because my son's 15 and I talk to him about it all the time. But anyway, back to the point here. The point is this: take away this and think about this, because if you find this out, everything else will become so much easier. You need to ask yourself why. Why do you want to get in shape? Why do you want that six-pack if that's what you're after? Why do you want to get bigger? I know my why. I know my why, and I'll share it with you. My why is, A, I want to be healthier so I live longer, because I want to be with my family and I want to be with my friends. I want to live a long life. The second thing is I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel good when I look at myself in the mirror. Not so much the scale. I want to feel good when I see clothes that I have on. I want to feel like I have a muscular body. I just want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like a big blockhead where I'm, looking like I'm on steroids. No, I want to feel like I'm in shape, like I've got a good physique, because that's going to make me feel younger. All right. And that's what I'm after. That's my why. All right. And that's why I do what I do. And that's really what you have to figure out. Now, your why is going to probably be totally different. It could be, I want it because I want to weigh a certain amount, because I know if I weigh that amount, I'm healthy. That's fine, but you need to know your why. And once you find that, then you can create the plan. And once you have the plan, then you can execute the plan. And the way you execute the plan is you surround yourself with like-minded people that are going to help you, that are going to push you, and that are going to motivate you. So that's my take on the why. Jim, your take on the why?
Yeah, once you have your why, you can always revert back to that. Even if you're, like I said, I'd go 9 or 10 months where I was working out, and then I'd take a week off. And in that week, again, it's so easy to just fall off track. And if I really reverted back to my why and kept that instilled in my brain, then I might have been able to stay on track. Or having a workout partner, someone to bounce things off of, to remind you of your why and what you're doing this for. I would assume if people are in their 40s or 50s, health is going to be at least in just about everybody's why in one way or another.
Right.
So, that's a great why. There's no reason not to have that in your arsenal to motivate you down the road.
Right. Right.
Another thing for me, I'd like people to look at me. They don't have to say anything to me, but I want them to look and say, well, he looks good, or boy, I'd like to look like that when I'm that age. Just those kinds of things.
Right.
I want people to know that, we work out, that we take care of our health. I was thinking about what you were saying. What the heck were you talking about? I think it was at a party. What were you saying? I can't remember what it was now. You had me laughing, and I had something to say about it. But
I'm sure we'll have more of those moments. But yeah, I'll give you an example. The kid that emailed me, 14, 15-year-old kid, he says that he wants to get a little bit more muscle, and he wants to get his abs, because it's getting for when it gets towards the summer months, he wants to take his shirt off and look good in front of the girls. That's what he said. So.
And I'm not worried about that anymore, by the way.
Right, but his why is different than your why. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's his why. So I want you to actually write it down. If you're listening to this, write it down. Write down big capital letters, why. Okay? And then from there, I want you to write a list of what would it feel like if you were able to get the physique, the weight, the abs, the muscle, whatever it is you're going after, what would it feel like? And that's going to pretty much be your why. You're going, at this whole thing for exercise, for fitness, for health, for all that stuff for a reason or reasons. And you want to figure them out because then you'll have a purpose. Like I know right now, I have a different why than when I was doing the Insanity program. The Insanity program was more or less me to prove to myself that I wasn't so out of shape, which my gosh, I was way out of shape. But I was proving it to myself.
Hey, that's a brutal workout though.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, even someone in their 20s is going to say, this is tough.
Oh, it's a crazy, that's why they call it insanity. It is insane. Sure. And, and I still do some of those workouts from time to time when I want to do a lot of cardio. But here's I've got a different why now. My why right now, my primary why is I want to get bigger. I've never had bigger shoulders. I've never had big traps. I don't want big, bulky stuff, but I want more size. When I put a shirt on, not even with my shirt off, but when my shirt's on, I want to be able to see the traps. I want to see the back. I want it to be a thicker look. That's what I'm after. So with that being said, I have a whole different approach now. Now I have to go after eating more calories, the right calories, but I also need to figure out how I'm going to do that without turning into a fatso. You know what I mean? And you and I talk about this a lot, and we've got a little bit of mixed feelings on it. You want to walk that tightrope. I'm okay with going off the tightrope and going a little heavy because if I don't, capitalize on my workouts, I'm doing it for nothing. And let's face it, everybody that goes and works out, you can say you love it, but really deep down, you really don't enjoy it as much as you want the result. You need the result to make that worth it and to make it fun. If you're working out and you know that there's benefits at the end of that workout, or I'm saying at the end of the workout, at the end of your time that you put in for that, whether it's a small goal, like you say in 30 days, I want to gain a ½ inch on my arms, or I want to lose, an inch on my waist. If you can aim for that, then you know your workouts are not a waste. We're doing the workouts for a result, for an end result. And that's going to be, chunking it down and seeing what you want. Like I said, 2 years ago, it was to lose 20 pounds and to get my shape back. And then from there, now I wanted to gain muscle, so I looked a little bit broader. So again, it's going to change. But, again, I just want people to understand, you have to figure out the why. Ask yourself that question, because up here between your ears is the most powerful thing that you can exercise and that you can train in. And if you can get a hold of that, man, it's amazing what you can do. Because if it works the opposite too. If you let it get to you, it can do some damage. It could really shut you down.
Yeah, the power of your mind can help you to get to your workout first off. And that's I think the hardest part for most people is to actually get to the workout. Getting home from work and being tired, or not having enough time at all, or, so you choose that you've got to get up earlier in the morning and lose out on sleep. And that's a tightrope kind of thing too, because rest is very important with exercise.
Right.
So it can be difficult, but you got to keep the effort up. And that's why we're doing this, to help people motivate and stay in that frame of mind.
Well, and let's be honest, all right? We're doing it for other people. I want people to be able to say, you know what, thank you. That's the pay, right? That's the payoff. Thank you, right? But deep down, there's a little bit of selfishness that I want from this too. And you want to know what that one thing is? For me doing this and you doing this is for us to hold ourselves accountable. To keep ourselves educating ourselves, to keep ourselves pushing the envelope, to keep trying new things, researching new things. We're not experts at all. We are students. I'll always be a student. I might know more than someone that's just started, but I still consider myself, and always will, in anything that I do, a student. a student of this health and fitness thing, and learning and educating, because education is power, and the more that we know, the more that we can improve and share. But deep down, this is keeping me on track. Let's not be foolish here. I mean, we know that for us to come out here and put ourselves out there in front of the public eye, in front of a group of people that want the same thing, let's face it, I got to live up to my end of the deal here. And that's what I want. It's almost like we talked about before we even started here, right? You got to hold yourself accountable. There's another takeaway, right? Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, well, we go back to, my why, and I talked about working out for 9 months and then taking 9 months off.
Right.
And that was a pattern that happened every year for 20 years,
right.
on off. And I want to stay on. If I'm not going full throttle, I don't have to be going full throttle the whole time, but at least doing something, right. Whether it be nutrition, right? Because even what was it? Last year, at the end of the year, I got really busy. I didn't have a lot of time for exercise. So I didn't exercise for like a month or two. But I had my nutrition in check.
Right.
I was able to control my weight with just what I ate.
Right.
Right. Up or down.
Right. And that's education, right? You're learning about nutrition. You're learning your body. Let's face it, we're all different, and we talk about that. We've talked about it on the blog, and this is stuff we didn't know about, especially when we were younger. We didn't know about figuring out our calorie intake and what our maintenance level was, and being able to, like, again, you have to experiment with your own body to see where you are for maintenance. So this way here, you can give us, or you can give everyone a starting point, but you have to figure it out on your own. You have to do it consistently, for at least 7 days, and you need to figure out what your body reacts to, and what it,
right.
Like, I know some people, myself included, you eat a couple pieces of pizza, the scale's going to go up a couple pounds, and it might stay up a couple pounds for a couple days. Now, that doesn't mean that that's fat, but I didn't know that before, but it doesn't mean that it's fat. It just means that you're high in either sodium or you're just friggin' bloated, So, it's heavy stuff,
That's right.
So, those are things that you really need to concentrate on. But holding yourself accountable, I want people to understand that too. Another takeaway here, again, these podcasts, we want to be helpful and stuff you can take away and feel inspired, but also actionable stuff that you can actually incorporate. And a lot of it is in the mind. But holding yourself accountable is huge. We were talking before we started this, and I told you, I says, you know what? Whether people got to tell one of their friends or their family members, look, if I'm committing to going to the gym for 30 days. If I miss one of my days, I'm going to pay you $20. Now, I can guarantee you, if you're going to the refrigerator to get your water or whatever in the morning, and then you look down at your sneakers and you go, I got to go to the gym, and you don't have like something that's going to hold you accountable, you might blow it off. But if you say to yourself, I got to give Jim $20 if I don't go, I'm going to put the shoes on and go, right? Now, that's just an example. I'm just saying you have to have something that holds you accountable and that makes it where you need to get it done. You need to execute it. And let me tell you something. The hardest part sometimes is just getting started. You said this the other day. I did a blog post about basically talking about just getting yourself started. And sometimes it's just a matter of saying to yourself mentally, look, I might not do the workout today. I'm just going to go down and at least do my warm-up. And once you get down there or you get in the gym or wherever you're doing this and you get that warm-up done, you're going to be like, what the hell? I'm going to do the workout. And then when you get done, you feel amazing. And you're so glad that you did it.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, I actually, about a week ago, we were talking about that, and I definitely did not feel like doing my workout this particular day, and I'm like, I'm going to take Scott's advice. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to do the warm-up, stretch out, use my roller, get the muscles warmed up. And I did that. And then your advice was, then you'll want to work out. And I didn't want to. That's okay. Because I was already warmed up, and I did it.
Right.
And I didn't feel like it.
Right.
But like you said, when I was done, and never ever before I started a workout, if I felt like not doing it, never ever after I was done did I ever say, I wish I didn't do that.
Right.
Not once.
Right.
Every time
Yeah.
I felt good about it.
And you feel good about it that night when you're getting ready for bed or whatever. You're like, cool, I got it done. So,
That's right.
So again, I just wanted to leave everybody with that. Number one, figure out your why. Okay, that's so important. Two, give yourself something that's going to make you and hold you accountable, whether it's someone telling someone, getting in a group that's locally, or joining our group. Joining it meaning just, go to our webpage at yougetripped.com, put your email address in, and let us know. Email us and say, hey, just want to let you know I did my workout. Or go to the blog and leave a comment section. We'll probably end up creating some type of post that's there, that's like a check-in point where people can just go and say, hey, just want to let you know I worked out today. Maybe that's something we can work on, Jim. And put together a page that gives people a place, including ourselves, that say, just want to check in. I did chest and tries today. Whatever, it felt really good. Or, I didn't really want to go to the gym today, but I did. Or maybe even I'm not feeling like working out today. And then you can kind of give them a little nudge, or whatever. But, maybe we can do something like that. But you just need something that's going to hold you accountable. And that's what we really want for this podcast. We're going to actually wrap it up. We're going to try to keep these between 30 and 35, 40 minutes. But we just want some takeaways. We want people to feel as they're part of a group, a tribe, whatever you call it. So this way here, you feel like, you have a group of people that are going to support you and that are not going to judge you. And, we're all in this for different reasons. But I can say that right now, the place that I am and the place that Jim is at different than other people, but we can still help those other people. But right now, I'm getting a lot of emails from people saying, look, I want to lose weight, but I want to gain muscle. I want to see my six pack, and I'm about 10% body fat, or I'm 15, 16 years old and I want to add muscle. So right now, a lot of people are emailing in saying, I want to gain muscle, I want to see abs. So those are things that we'll be talking about. Those are important to us as well, so we'll definitely be talking about those. But any other last things you want to say to wrap up this podcast? Our number one podcast, by the way. This is one of many that we're going to be doing, and hopefully you'll send in some questions and stuff, and we'll put them on the podcast. Actually, we've got about 5 or 6 questions that we're going to be answering in video, and we'll probably bring them up in a future podcast. But any last bits of advice or what you want to see come from this, Jim?
Just work on your why. Get that stuff written down. As many reasons as you can come up with why you want to or you need to. Get that down on paper. Share it with someone. If you can get a workout partner, and Scott and I have proven you don't have to go to the gym, and exercise can be a walk. Let's not misunderstand that either. You don't have to actually be physically next to this person to check in and be accountable, because Scott lives in New York. I live in Arizona. We're workout partners. He's my partner. Right. We check in every day. Every day. So get your why, share it with a partner or with us.
Be our partner.
If there's nobody out there and you don't have anybody else, we'll be your partner. Share your why with us. Email us. We'll communicate with you. And like Scott said, we want to get some kind of check-in for everyone when they get their workout done.
Yeah, no, so that's good. So I would say that's going to wrap up this podcast. Everyone that's listening, everyone that's downloaded it or whatever, I appreciate you showing up. And
we'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, let us know. And in the meantime, you get ripped. And thanks for listening to the You Get Ripped podcast at www.yougetripped.com.